A land where mountains touch the sky, rivers carve through ancient forests, and adventure waits around every corner. From volcanic landscapes to golden beaches, 2 islands, endless possibilities.
This is New Zealand.
First leg of the trip, Birmingham to Doha. Smooth flight, nothing too wild, but let me tell you, Doha Airport, now that's a whole different world in there. This place is insane. Designer stores, massive art installations, even a jungle in the middle of the airport, because why not? But we had a 10-hour layover, 10 hours, and let me tell you, the excitement wears off very fast when you're running on 0 sleep. And finally made it to New Zealand, made it to Auckland after what felt like a lifetime of travel, beyond exhausted, but also so ready for this adventure. Auckland, New Zealand's largest city, land of volcanoes, stunning coastlines, and a terrifying amount of seagulls. After an excruciatingly long flight that felt like it lasted somewhere between 12 hours and a lifetime, we finally touched down, blurry-eyed and running on whatever energy remains. After consuming 6 aeroplane meals, our first priority wasn't sightseeing, it was survival. And survival in this case meant finding a good hotel. Enter the Naomi Auckland Airport Hotel. Now, airport hotels usually fall into 2 categories: soulless, fluorescent lit boxes where dreams go to die, or overpriced fake luxury spots with suspiciously small windows. Naomi, however, is neither. Walking into the lobby feels more like stepping into an art gallery run by someone who's had a little too much coffee in the best way possible. Bold colours, quirky furniture, and an undeniable sense of fun, which makes this place stand out. The rooms, surprisingly spacious with plush beds that practically beg you to collapse into them, which we did immediately. There's even a courtyard with a pool, because nothing says relaxation like floating aimlessly while ignoring the fact that you should be probably out exploring. Welcome to day 2 of the New Zealand adventure. First day was more of just getting set up, check into the hotel. We got the car, or the blue whip. It's nothing too special, quite expensive for what it is, but nonetheless it still gets from A to B. So for day 2 we are going to the Botanical Gardens in Auckland, which I think is pretty cool from the pictures. We're doing the Sky Tower as well, and we're gonna have food and drink and all that kind of good stuff. And then the third thing we're doing is we're going to the observation centre, because there's some amazing reviews, and that's a squeaky door, some amazing reviews for this place, and it just looks something special from all the pictures like online and Google. Still a squeaky door. And then after that we are going to the new hotel, which is in the Auckland sort of harbour, the docks area. And from that point on, once we've checked in, we'll check out the hotel, and from there we'll just go somewhere else and do whatever we want. Having a car though is key to getting around New Zealand, I think, especially if you're doing what we're doing and travelling around. So with that, let's move on to day 2 and let's see what we can find.
After demolishing breakfast, seriously, those hash browns were life-changing. We jumped into the car and headed straight into central Auckland. First stop was Auckland Space Observation Centre, but nothing says good morning like pretending to understand the cosmos whilst running on a questionable amount of caffeine. Then onto the Sky Tower, because what a better way to spend the morning than standing 328 metres above the ground, questioning all of our life choices. After taking in the panoramic views and resisting the urge to dropkick a coin off the edge, we made our way onto the next hotel, the Chancellor on Hobson, the place we'd be calling home for the next couple of nights. Right, so onto Auckland Space Observation Centre, a place where you can stare deep into the cosmos while simultaneously questioning your own existence, all for the very reasonable price of $5 New Zealand dollar or £2.50. This gives you access to the Space Gallery and exhibits at least. Now, before you start celebrating your budget-friendly space adventure, there's a catch. If you want to experience the good stuff like the planetarium shows, laser shows, or even getting your hands on a telescope, you'll need to cough up a bit more. Prices vary, and some of these experiences do require booking in advance, so unless you fancy turning up to be told you can't see the stars, it's best you check their website beforehand. That said, even just wandering through the exhibit is worth it. Expect interactive displays, mind-bending facts about black holes, and just enough existential dread to make you appreciate how tiny we really are in the grand scheme of things.
Moon, gravity, Earth, gravity, glued. Look at this for an idea. So you can ask a question and you put it in there, then they put it up on the board and then write the answers to it. So when you come in, you can see what your answer is to the question you put in the box. How cool is that? Traffic here is fucking long. Like, oh, it's on red now then.
Right, let's talk about the Sky Tower, Auckland's most iconic landmark and the best place to stand, 328 metres in the air, gripping the handrails like you're pretending you're totally fine with heights. Opened in 1997, this architectural beast dominates the city skyline, and for good reason. It's the tallest freestanding structure in all of the Southern Hemisphere, but more importantly, it offers panoramic views of Auckland, perfect for spotting landmarks, watching boats dot around the harbour, or just staring dramatically into the distance like you're in a movie montage.
There's just information on the windows explaining what you see, which I think is really cool. I can't. 38mm thick.
Oh my god.
I'm 20.
I couldn't feel myself laughing.
No. No. Oh, nah. I'm like 18 and off, so I don't care. It says it's strong as concrete floors. You're nah. Don't care.
I got heartburn.
I feel like I've just given birth.
Look at all the boats. I don't know if the camera can see this, but there, it's like a huge docking area for the boats. That is terrifying.
I've done the Eiffel Tower. That's terrible.
This place is like pretty big. I'm not walking over that again. Fuck that. I reckon I would not work from that. Imagine that, you're just up in there and then that's down there. Nah, I couldn't be paid enough to do that. This, the Mantis building maintenance unit, also known as the Mantis, is a purpose-built machine made to clean windows outside the Sky Tower. Jeez. Nah.
Wow.
Nah, it makes me feel sick. Makes me feel sick. Nah. Something else. I will definitely say though, if anyone wants to come here, I highly recommend it. It is a little expensive, but it is worth it. I was a bit unsure of the cost because like almost $100 to do this. But then standing here, looking out there, like look, it's kind of worth it in a way. So definitely, if you're coming to Auckland, put it on your list because this is definitely worth it. And there's some proper chill music as well. Listen to this. Yeah. So put it on your list. It's worth it. But put some money aside, and if you get the chance, try and get the Sky Bar as well. We're hoping to go some point in the next couple of days, but you do have to reserve it. So I'll keep you updated. No doubt it'll be in the video. So yeah. Push. So we're currently at the Sky Tower, and they're playing Busted Year 3000, which, for clarity, is one of the best bands going. Just letting you know. So can't argue with that one. And Sam went and got some very nice cake. Look at that. And I saw everything. Boy bands, and another one, and another one, and another one. From the Sky Tower to the Botanical Gardens, our last stop of the day. And yes, it was still raining because apparently Auckland had decided to embrace full British weather mode. But did that stop us? Absolutely not. Armed with questionable waterproof jackets and a mild sense of denial, we ventured into the gardens, determined to make the most of it. Spanning over 64 hectares, the Auckland Botanical Gardens are home to thousands of plants from around the world. Some exotic, some native, and some that just look like they'd personally evolved to survive relentless drizzle. The walking trails wind through lush greenery, themed gardens, and tranquil ponds, making it the perfect place to pretend you're in a nature documentary if you ignore the occasional puddle ambush. Edibles. Alright, New Zealand, calm down. Like, look at this. Grow your own smoothie. So it's giving you, ideas on what to do. Look at this. Compost stuff. Look. It's like literally, they've made it look like someone's garden. Look, a worm bath. You know? It's like they're trying to encourage people to do these things in order to preserve the way of life for this country and the inhabitants, and just even down to the insects. I can't get over how good this place is. I want to live here. I've only been here a day and I've walked into one singular garden. What the was that? I'm being attacked. I've trod on something. Yeah, just they're doing it right. They are doing it right. Look. So when you bring your kids or your family, it's actually going through what to do. Love it. Love it. I love it. Look at this. A banana tree that's very dead. But so this garden, literally I'm walking around and I'm like, this literally, it looks like someone's garden. But the idea is, so my lovely girlfriend has just explained that the idea of this whole thing is to give you inspiration of, you know, what to do in your own garden. There's even signs for like smoothies. It's really weird. You don't get anything like this in the UK. It's the little things that are just making it work for me, I think. You know, in New Zealand, they actually don't just think of, oh, it's a garden you can come around. They actually think of, this is what you can do for your garden, which, you know, again, the little things. I find, so far we've been in the country literally a day and a bit, if not just a day. And what I'm finding so far is New Zealand are very good at doing everything like their way, but they like refine things to be a bit better, you know, like this. Oh, here's a garden you can come around and just look at, but this is also ideas you can do for your own garden, and really good stuff for smoothies. You don't see that anywhere else. So good work, New Zealand, good work. Despite the rain, the gardens were surprisingly peaceful, and if anything, the wet weather made everything look more vibrant. And a little bit of a bonus, fewer people around meant we practically had the place to ourselves. So, was it worth the visit? Absolutely. Would it have been better with sunshine? Yeah, probably. But at this point, we'd fully accepted that the weather had its own agenda and we were just along for the ride. Whether you're a die-hard plant enthusiast or just need a break from the city noise, the Botanical Gardens are one of those places that's effortlessly calming, assuming you don't get ambushed by a rogue duck along the way. Right, so we've checked into our next stay, the Chancellor on Hobson, our base for the next couple of nights. Located in the heart of Auckland, this place is more of a serviced apartment than a typical hotel, which means more space, a kitchenette, and most importantly, laundry facilities, because at some point, even the best planned trips involve a desperate need for clean socks. It's a solid choice if you want to be within walking distance of the city's main attractions, and while it's not exactly 5-star luxury, it's got everything you need for a comfortable stay. But rather than just tell you about it, let's do a quick tour of the place and see what we're working with. So welcome to the Chancellor on Hobson, or Ab Hobson, and this is the room tour. Kitchen that comes with it. We booked not just a room but an apartment because we figured while we are in Auckland, might as well get somewhere nice. So kitchen, it's got all the good stuff like water, and it's got everything: it's microwave, toaster, fridge, freezer, which is pretty good. Bathroom. Look at that, shower, and one of the good things in this is washer dryer with washer and a tumble dryer. Very 80s. And then we'll go weirdly through all the strange doors because you can go through there and through into the bedroom. Look at this. Good old bedroom with a view.
And yes, that is a balcony. That walk-in wardrobe if you're very small. So technically you can walk in it with a huge cloth. Living room with a reasonably sized TV. And then this is the key feature. Our own balcony with a city view and the Sky Tower. Now this cost $500, which is around about £250, and that is for 2 nights, I think. And then on top of that, that also includes the parking. Now the parking is $40 for, I think it's for day rates. So you can park there for the day, and that's right below the hotel, but you're given an allocated parking space. I'm pretty sure that is for your whole duration. So if you want to go around the city, instead of finding like places like that, the multi-story, you can actually just park at the bottom of the hotel. It's a little expensive, but you have 24-hour access to it, and you're not paying, you know, overnight fees or anything else. It's yours, and you can use it all day if you wish. So I think that's pretty good. Other than that, yeah, it's just standard room. There's a vase of sticks, I guess. But yeah, it is what it is. This is also a residential place as well. So there's people actually staying here, because as you walk in the reception area, there's letterboxes. So I'll put all the information on screen so you can see it, and then I'll yeah, see you around the rest of the city.
After spending the night in the city and finally giving ourselves a well-deserved lie-in, the next morning was all about getting out of Auckland and seeing a bit more of what New Zealand had to offer. So after a slow start and a questionable amount of caffeine and a quick glance at the weather, which surprisingly wasn't trying to drown us today, we jumped into the car and set our sights on Fairy Falls, a hidden gem tucked away in the Waitākere Ranges, just a short drive from the city. It was time to swap the city noise for cascading waterfalls, lush rainforests, and hopefully no encounters with oversized spiders. Let's hit the road. Let's pause right here for some important information before we go too far into Fairy Falls. Let me tell you how we are actually getting around New Zealand.
Hyundai i30 does the job, goes from A to B. Not great. I'm used to a Ford Ranger. I'm more wearing it than actually driving it. Now the keys, not great if I'm honest. It does have a bit of a flick. £1,100 for the month.
I'm just gonna step in here for a moment because this one caught us off guard. Something to be mindful of when hiring a car in New Zealand: the holding deposit. Now, in our case, the car itself was £1,100 or 2,200 New Zealand dollar, which, to be fair, did include the inter-island ferry crossing. What we hadn't budgeted for was the additional holding fee, a lovely surprise of £500 or 1,000 New Zealand dollar on top of that. Not exactly pocket change. So if you're planning on hiring a car, factor these extra costs in because they will add up. That said, was the car worth it? Absolutely. If you want to escape the main tourist hotspots and actually see New Zealand beyond the usual postcard views, it's an investment you won't regret. And now, from me, back to me.
Other than that, good old whip. So we're heading to Fairy Falls, which is just behind us, and that's why a vehicle is necessary, because all the really good stuff like waterfalls and all that, really you need a car to get there. So yeah, get a car.
Right, so today's adventure, as mentioned, takes us to Fairy Falls, tucked away in Auckland's Waitākere Ranges, and easily one of the most picturesque waterfalls in the region. The plan? A scenic walk through native New Zealand bush, followed by the mandatory Instagram shot in front of a multi-tiered waterfall, assuming we don't get eaten alive by mosquitoes on the way. The track to Fairy Falls starts from a signposted car park on Scenic Drive, and from the very beginning you're surrounded by dense native forest, the kind that instantly makes you feel like you've stepped into Jurassic Park. Huge ferns, towering kauri trees, and just the right amount of bird noises to make you think, yeah, this is proper New Zealand. The walk itself is around about 5k return, and while the way down is fairly straightforward, the climb back up, not so much. Just be prepared to feel like you've aged 10 years by the time you reach the car again. Oh, this is that thing we saw. Yeah. So this curious little device is from something that happened back in 2018. A deadly pathogen called coyote dieback disease started devastating native coyote trees in the region. It's basically a disease that infects the roots of these massive ancient trees and slowly kills them off. To stop it from spreading, they actually closed a lot of the walking tracks around here, including parts of the Fairy Falls track itself. Even today, some of the access points, like the one from Mountain Road, are still closed. So if you're planning a trip, please make sure you check the website for any updates before you turn up expecting a casual walk. And speaking of unexpected problems, this place also took a bit of a hit during Cyclone Gabrielle in early 2023, which caused some serious damage to parts of the trail. Thankfully, the majority of the Fairy Falls track is now open again, but they're still doing repairs in some areas. So yeah, beautiful waterfall hidden away in the forest, a bit of an uphill slog on the way back, and just the right amount of environmental drama to remind you that nature doesn't mess around. But honestly, totally worth it. Just maybe bring some comfortable shoes.
So there's a lot of steps, right? So you can see there's a lot of steps. We've literally been going down the steps for ages. I've actually lost count. Not that I count steps often, but if you have any disabilities, I'd probably rule out a wheelchair, because let's be honest, you ain't getting down after this. I don't think I'm going to be walking for a couple of days after we get back up. I think I'm going to get to the top and crave a pint and maybe some ice cream, I think, because it's also very hot. But it's New Zealand, so yeah, why wouldn't it be? But we're so close. So close I can taste it. Oh, there it is. Part of it anyway. Quick note, when you're done at the Fairy Falls and you're like, Oh yeah, that was amazing. And maybe had a dip. Remember, you gotta go all the way back up the stairs, and there is a lot of them.
Right, time to pack up, catch our breath from that uphill climb at Fairy Falls and hit the road again. Next stop, Piha Beach, one of New Zealand's most iconic black sand beaches and the kind of place that looked like it was ripped straight out of a movie scene. Rugged coastline, towering cliffs and waves so fierce they practically slap you in the face the moment you step foot in the water. It's only about a 30-minute drive from Fairy Falls, but as you get closer you'll notice the landscape starting to shift. The dense rainforest of the Waitākere Ranges gradually opens up and suddenly, boom, you're hit with the sweeping views of the Tasman Sea and this massive, wild coastline that looks like it hasn't been tamed in centuries. And right in the middle of it all, Lion Rock, a gigantic volcanic monolith that's just casually sitting on the beach like it owns the place. It's practically the symbol of Piha, and yes, you can climb it, assuming you don't mind getting a bit out of breath. Something we really weren't warned about when visiting Piha Beach, the sand is ridiculously hot, like lava under your feet kind of hot. Because it's black volcanic sand, it absorbs the sun like a solar panel, and within seconds of taking off your shoes, you'll find yourself frantically hopping across the beach like you're in some sort of barefoot obstacle course. Honestly, if you didn't plan on burning the soles of your feet, surprise, you will. But don't worry, because once you've bravely made it across the sand or admitted defeat and put your shoes on, which I did, you'll definitely want to check out the Surfside Bite and Brew bar. Just down the road, it's a laid-back little spot, perfect for grabbing a cold drink or some food after being absolutely roasted by the beach. Burgers, seafood, ice cold beers, you name it. And after a few hours of watching the surfers get absolutely destroyed by Piha's waves, sitting back with a drink in hand just feels like the right thing to do. So yeah, hot sand, cold drinks and some of the wildest surf you'll see in New Zealand. Pretty solid way to spend an afternoon. And that pretty much wraps up our time in Auckland. From exploring the stars at the observation centre to dangling 328 metres in the air at the Sky Tower, battling the rain through the Botanical Gardens and chasing waterfalls at Fairy Falls, and finally melting our feet off at the black sands of Piha Beach. It's safe to say Auckland didn't hold back on delivering an adventure. It's funny, you come to a city like Auckland expecting it to be all about the skyline and the nightlife, but once you scratch beneath the surface, there's so much more going on. One minute you're walking through lush rainforests, the next you're standing on a volcanic beach or staring up at the cosmos. It's like 3 different worlds crammed into one city, and honestly, that's what makes it so incredible. But don't worry, we're only just getting started, because tomorrow we're heading out even further to explore some of New Zealand's most breathtaking landscapes. And if the adventures that we've been on so far was anything to go by, we're really in for something special, and trust me, we have something incredible coming up in the next video. So if you enjoyed the journey so far, stick around, hit that subscribe button and join us for even more adventures across New Zealand, because trust me, it only gets better from here. And on that note, I think it's time to grab a drink and recover from today's sunburn. See you in the next one.